The eSport industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world today, with major strides every year in revenue, active viewers, more competitive games, and of course, more eSport organizations. eSport organizations share a lot of similarities with regular sport companies. They have training facilities, constant roster changes, contracts and deals, uniforms and sponsors, and lots of money from media rights and winning competitions. The other similarity is that fans of any specific club are drawn to that club and are loyal from then onwards. And that got me thinking, which eSport organization is objectively the best? Who should get the bragging rights against all their competitors or friends who support different companies? This is the battle of the eSports industry, finding out which organization is truly the greatest. Before we start, I'll just say I don't really have any eSport team that I particularly favour in any of the games that I watch, so I think I've kept this as pretty unbiased and impartial, but maybe you'll disagree with me. I'm going basically solely off the most recent data available to us to make these decisions. To pick a winner, I'll be segmenting this video into 4 categories: winnings, brand valuation, dominance in singular games, and dominance across all eSport titles. These will become clearer as we get into them. So the first category is the highest amount of winnings. According to esportearnings.com, there are 100 organizations worldwide that have won at least $1 million from tournaments. There are 11 organizations that have earned over $10 million. These are LGD Gaming, Natus Vincere, Invictus Gaming, Team Secret, Vici Gaming, Virtus Pro, Newbie, Fnatic, and Evil Geniuses. There are 2 others that are well above everyone else, both earning over $33 million. Number 1 is Team Liquid, and number 2 is OG. For any Dota 2 fans out there, they'll know exactly why these 2, as well as the others on this list, are here. The International for Dota 2 each year provides monstrous prize pools funded by 25% of the sales of the in-game Battle Pass. In fact, 14 out of the 15 highest earning organizations have fielded high-earning Dota 2 teams. The lonely exception to this is SK Telecom T1, the most successful League of Legends team, who has also earned well in the Starcraft scene. There is obviously a strong correlation between high-earning organizations and those with top-tier Dota 2 teams. Just to give some quick perspective, the players of OG in the Dota 2 International in 2019 each won more than the winners of Wimbledon and more than Tiger Woods during his 2019 Masters tournament. Anyways, to circle back, in terms of raw numbers, Team Liquid is the greatest earning organization. However, it is worth noting that they only just beat out OG and have participated in 21 times more tournaments than OG has. Later in this video, we will touch on how Team Liquid has become the highest earner, but for now, they can win this category. The second category I wanted to look at is brand valuation. There are multiple ways to value a brand, but the source I used valuated the companies through enterprise value. This is calculated through total debt plus the equity value of outstanding stocks multiplied by the market price of those stocks, as well as other equities and assets. The trend we will see with this data is that the value of a brand is not so much associated with the winnings of the teams, it is rather about the size of their organizations, their accumulation of assets, and their amount of revenue through other streams like sponsorships, content creators, and media rights. According to Forbes in late 2019, the most valuable company was both Cloud9 and TSM at a brand valuation each of about $540 million. Cloud9, TSM and the rest of the teams on this list have teams competing for many different titles, generally at least over 10. This is different to say OG, who is the second highest earning organization but only fields 3 teams, with 99% of their winnings coming from the Dota 2 team. It is worth noting that there are actually far more valuable companies who own eSport teams as subsidiaries, but those independent eSport teams or departments are not worth as much as Cloud9 or TSM. For example, the motor vehicle company Renault owns Renault Vitality. Another example is the soccer team PSG, who owns an eSport department known as PSG eSports. PSG itself is worth over $1 billion, but the eSport division wouldn't be worth anywhere near that. C9 and TSM have a pretty sizable lead over everyone else, with Team Liquid, FaZe Clan and Gen.G being the next 3 most valuable companies. But for this category, C9 and TSM can take the cake. The third category will be a simmer through the top 10 most popular PC eSport titles currently around and seeing who has the most successful team in each game based on grand tournament and major wins. We're also going to look at earnings and how many tournaments they've played in. What we're actually looking for here is a team that has dominated in 2 or more of the biggest esport titles, and there is a winner to this. So we're going to start with League of Legends. I already mentioned before who the most decorated team is, and that is SKT T1. They have won 3 Worlds titles as well as 8 LCK splits, as well as the highest earnings for League, totaling at $7.1 million. For Dota 2, it was difficult to say. I will actually give the win here to OG because of their 2 international wins and the highest earnings in the game. They've also won a few majors over the past couple of years. There were a lot of contenders for this who have also won a lot of money and majors, like Team Liquid, Na'Vi, EG and Team Secret, but OG can take this one. Next is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The top spot goes to Astralis, who have won the most majors with 4, including a hat-trick. They've by far won the most amount of money with over $8 million in only 86 tournaments, in front of second place Fnatic, who has won 3 majors, $4.5 million in 193 tournaments. Fortnite has 2 equally successful organizations, Cooler eSports and Sentinels. They've both won around $3.2 million, with Cooler eSports just edging out. Cooler eSports has also won slightly more medals, however Sentinels has had 1 more first place finish in a tournament. So for this game, both teams can take the victory royale. Starcraft II has had by far the most tournaments run for it at almost 6,000 tournaments. However, there is one clear winner, and that is Jin Air Green Wings. In 330 tournaments, JAG has accumulated 2.4 million in winnings with 92 first place finishes in tournaments and another stack of second and third places. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG, has also quite a clear winner, which is Gen G. They've won more than double any other team despite lower participation than other big organizations like FaZe Clan, Cloud9 and Team Liquid. FaZe Clan has had significantly more first, second and third medals, but a lot of these were for quite minor tournaments. Overwatch has had several teams with high winnings, around $1.5 million each. London's Spitfire has won only $21,000 more than second place San Francisco Shock, but I'm actually going to give the win to the San Francisco Shock team just because they've played in only 5 tournaments and still have more medals than London Spitfire. San Francisco Shock is owned by NRG's co-owner Andy Miller, so we could give some credit to NRG as well. G2 eSports is the top performing team for Hearthstone, even though most of their success was in the first year of the game's life. The only title they're really missing is a Hearthstone World Championship victory at BlizzCon, which they haven't fared too well at. Nonetheless, their roster is still performing high to this day. Boys, we're close to a winning org in this category, just bear with me. So back in the day of the Heroes of the Storm eSports, the most dominant team there was the Korean team MVP, who held many titles for various major and minor tournaments. There are a bunch of other esport titles I could go over, but I didn't want this to take forever. The last game is Rainbow Six Siege, which has seen 2 equally successful teams as well. These are Space Station Gaming and our winner for this category, which is G2 eSports. Both have won around $1.5 million with an invitational title to their names. So, G2 has been able to rise to the top in 2 different huge esport titles, Hearthstone and Rainbow Six Siege. Our last category is the Allrounder. This is the organisation with the widest range of successes across lots of different titles. After hours of sifting through many different games, I've come up with a small list of organisations who've seen lots of triumphs. These correlate somewhat with companies that are higher in brand value and also obviously have a larger community and fan base as they've built up fans from a lot of different game communities. We aren't going to see unicorn companies like OG and Astralis who've built all their fans, winnings and revenue from a singular game. So there is one team that has seen success in all 10 of the previously mentioned games except Overwatch, and that is Team Liquid. This one is to be expected as they have by far participated in the most tournaments for the past 20 years and have the highest winnings to date at $35 million. Although Dota 2 has yielded most of their revenue, they have fielded successful teams in so many different games like League of Legends, Hearthstone, Fortnite, Starcraft II, CSGO, Counter-Strike 1.6, Rainbow Six Siege and PUBG. Team Liquid has also been the #1 team for various smaller eSport titles too, like Clash Royale, Quake Champions, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Street Fighter V. The only thing they're really missing is good teams from a few other big titles like Overwatch as mentioned before, but also Rocket League, Arena of Valor, and the Call of Duty franchise. There are a couple more organisations that have a wide range of high performing teams too, but none as great as Team Liquid. Some examples include G2, NRG, Cloud9 and Fnatic. So to conclude, if you want to go by my arbitrary and meaningless list of categories and achievements, then I guess it is safe to say that Team Liquid is probably the greatest esport organisation of all time. They've had the most winnings, the highest number of successful rosters, and are the third most valuable team in the world according to Forbes. However, if there is an organisation you love and you think they're the greatest, then you're right. Whether it be Immortals, Dignitas, Fnatic, 100 Thieves, Flipside Tactics, or whoever, let me know who you think is the greatest. Maybe my lists, categories and choice of winners are dumb. Let me know what you guys think and also ways to improve my videos for the future and content you would like to see in the future as well. I shall see you again soon.